Hello.
Hello.
Hi. All right. Phone charged up?
I'm on the computer now.
All right, cool. Do me a favor. Your head's a little bit cut off, so you might want to. There we go. So I was saying that one that I think you know that this is a little unfair. It's a lot unfair. I mean, what do you think? What if women move like you in the dating market? How do you expect the men to act?
To do what?
If women move like yourself in the dating market, meaning don't elevate my lifestyle, don't introduce me to anything new or do anything for me that I'm not already accustomed to, because if this is over, you're going to have to keep me this way.
But
How do you think that's going to impact the dating market?
I'm not saying you have to keep me this way forever. I think it's a period of time.
Okay, how long though?
I I feel like 3 months
3 months
like
after the relationship
I
ends?
yes. I would expect 3 months, but I feel like 6 months you're being like you're a really good guy if you were to do 6 months.
So,
But three
I,
months
I,
like something like you have to do this or make your life hell.
oh,
No, I'm kidding.
make your life hell. You want to make my life hell? I got lawyers and I got knee breakers. I got
But
shit for
it's like
people like you.
if me and you have no bad, why you rather pay lawyers than help me?
No, I got
Meanwhile,
other. I got people. No, I got other folks that would make sure that you wouldn't make my life hell.
and I got them folks too.
But see, that's the point. We don't need to go to that. You just make sure that you go do what you gotta do and I do what I gotta do, because it ain't that. See, that's not healthy. But when you decide to try to go violent against the man, you expect the man to just take it? No, I got shit too. But that's what's the point. See, my stuff is my stuff and your stuff is your stuff.
And then
But
you
let me
gave me
ask
that,
you.
so
But let
that's
me
my
ask you a
stuff.
question. That's not going to be a fruitful conversation. How does this work out? Do you get a certain amount of months per the amount of years you involved, or what?
Do you get what? Repeat that.
How does that work out? How does the math work out? You get 3 months for how long do you have to be involved with somebody before you get 3 months
Yo,
minimum, 6 months?
if I'm married, if I'm not married, but if I'm in a relationship with someone for 10 years, you're not giving me 3 months. Like you're gonna have to
But
give me
but we're
longer
not
than that.
talking about marriage. See, I asked about
No,
marriage
I didn't mean
earlier.
marriage. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
But
to
if
say
I
that.
asked
If
about
I'm in
marriage earlier because that's normal. That's how we know how to deal with stuff. But the situation you talk about, where this 3 and 6 months come from? How long of a relationship are we talking about?
I feel like for the time period that I like 3 to 4 or 5 years, 3 to 5 years, I feel like 3 months is good. Like now, if I'm with someone for 10 years, like you're gonna have to give me a year because if I dedicated my life to you for 10 years and you
Mm-hmm.
were the breadwinner and you never, like, a lot of times, men, when they
Does that
have
does
more
that
money,
happen even if you leave?
if I have money and he leave,
No, if you leave the relationship, you get this payout.
it's if it's like an even kind of thing. Like if I leave, it's because I should have a plan ready, right?
No.
Like
What I'm
boom.
asking is if 80% of divorces or breakups are initiated by the women. So what I'm saying is, if you leave the relationship after 5 or 10 years, do you still get paid out?
Hmm. I think it's a case by case. I think it depends. Like if he cheated on me and I left him, like you did wrong. You know what I mean? If
See, what you're basically talking about is having no fault divorce for boyfriend girlfriend situations. That's what you're
I
talking
feel
about.
what
Having you're talking
I
about
feel,
you're literally talking about palimony. All right, but my question to you: that doesn't exist in a legal framework that you can do anything about. You can talk and you can cap and you can say, I got this, I got that. But at the end of the day, the kind of men you're talking about have more money, more resources, and thereby more ways to protect themselves than you do. So you can't win that. So
well,
let's
I
move that
think
to the side.
I
Let's move
think
that
a
to the
woman.
side. Why not just get married?
So am I supposed to ask him to marry me? Like if there's no marriage involved for whatever reason, what's the difference? That's my
Mm.
point. What's the
Let me stop right
marriage is
there.
the
Let me stop right there. Let me stop right there. I'll answer that question. If you want some sort of guarantees on the event of a breakup, then the only way that happens is through marriage. And that will put the accountability on you to only date men who are marriage minded. But see, that would mean you would have to be a wife first.
Mm-hmm.
The way you have it set up is you can date a man who has resources, and you don't necessarily have to be a wife first in order to be found by a husband. And you still get some sort of a payout on the back end. No.
Yes, because we play husband and wife. You know how this is. It's 2021.
No, really not playing as husband. There's no playing as husband and wife. If you had a guy that had okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak. Go ahead.
In real life, we out here doing that. Like, men expect certain levels of commitment and loyalty and actions that come with being a wife versus being a girlfriend. And
yeah, but see, but hold on, ma'am. Let me respond to that. But here's the difference, ma'am. When the relationship is over, all that stops. So do all the benefits of that relationship. That's what happens if you're not a wife.
Not if you was with me.
What?
I'm here to say not if you was with me. Like,
well, and see, that's so men need to avoid dealing with women like you if they don't want to deal with this. Because due respect, we haven't even talked about it. You brought another man's child into this relationship. So this man had to be responsible for dealing with you and somewhat provisioning for a child.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's taking care of one man's responsibility, and then after y'all break up, he's taking care of another man's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it would be simple to either not deal with women like you, or if you're going to act this way, it's not right, ma'am. I don't want to say that other part, but
no, that's okay. Respectfully, every man that I have been with, while I have been with them, they have elevated during that period of time. And I'm not just saying that. So it's like, it depends on the type of woman you are and what you know what I mean?
But if they elevated, man, why? See, they elevated because they're going to elevate anyway. Just like you said, you helped him with his business and things like that afterwards. And I ask you, the things you did, were they so critical that if you didn't do them, the business would have failed? What you're trying to basically say is you're responsible for his success. Let me ask you a very simple question. I'm going to ask you a really simple question, okay? What you're basically saying is you owe me. You owe me for my time, my body, all these things I spent. That's what you're ultimately saying. You owe me. And what I've gotten from you isn't equal to what you owe me. How much money do you think he owes you?
I think that my bare necessities should be covered for 3 months or up to 6 months. It's different depending on your lifestyle and what somebody really brought to the table. You know, he could have put me in a condo that was $10,000 a month, and so
you said so these necessities are $6,000
that I currently have.
So I thought you said your lease was like 45 or something like that.
Yeah, around
so like,
there.
And your car, it's like 5,500.
Mm-hmm.
So he owes you $36,000 roughly. So
basically.
So, all right, and you've been in this law for how long?
It's going on 2 years in November.
All right, and that law was $4,500. $4,500 a month.
Well, the lease was.
Hold on.
The lease was on 18 months. So.
Okay, 18 months, but you've been in there for 2 months. But you've been in there for 2 years. So it's been 18 months or 2 years.
Well, 2 years. I haven't hit 2 years yet. It's been.
Okay. Let's give it 18 months. 18 months. Yeah. Okay. 18 months. 18 months. That's $81,000 just in that alone. So you owe him $45,000 today. He's already paid you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He's already paid you. If he owed you, listen. I went with your logic. If he owes you 6 months, he paid that. See, that's my point. Even after it was paid, you're still entitled until you don't want to have it anymore. You're not even close to being fair. Even in your scenario.
Until the lease term is
That's
up.
not what you no, ma'am. It was very clear. You said 3 to 6 months. So that
is,
and that's
is
why
the, is the no, the 3 month, that's the proper thing to do. But
ma'am, there's no proper thing to do with a woman
up.
like you. Ma'am, there's no proper thing to do with a woman like you because you are slick, you're fast and loose with stuff, and you're used to getting your way. You're a manipulator. That's who you are. Then you'll use words like toxic and this and that, hustle, city girl. There's no way to be even right with you. So here's the thing. I don't know what you believe in, but at 28 years old, I'm going to say something. Young lady, karma is real, whether you like it or not. And this is going to catch up to you one day. You're wrong.
But wait, if
hold on, ma'am. Hold on. Let me just say, ma'am, this man did right. Listen, let me say what I have to say and I'll let you say what you have to say. I guarantee you. Ma'am, this man did right by you in a relationship. And y'all were together. Afterwards, y'all became friends. You haven't said he did anything wrong, but you're treating him as though he is still your property and that he owes you something that you can't substantiate. You're just taking his money. Go ahead.
And I guess he likes it because.
Okay. And that's why I said, where's your honor as a woman? And I said, where's your honor as a woman? Because I said, you talking about honor? And I said, where's your honor as a woman? Because even going according to you, 3 months to 6 months, ma'am, you've had this for a year and a half or 2 years. And that's not even including the car. You got a whole man living up in there talking about we put in new mattress and new TVs. This is going to catch up with you one day because you won't always be 28. 28 will turn to 30. 30 will turn to 35. 35 will turn to 40. There's no more hot girl summer, no more city girl, nothing. There'll be a new model out there with a new software.
And then I may be a cougar since I believe in this.
Here's the only way you're going to be a cougar is it, but ma'am, I'm not trying to be funny, but I need you to listen. Seriously, because I don't even know what your profession is. I asked you about OnlyFans transitioning to mainstream. That's going to happen quickly. They always do. So what's going to be your sustainable revenue source until the rest of your life if you can't do this kind of stuff or whatever you're doing right now? We all have to grow up. We all have to take care of ourselves to where we're not relying upon, well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Hopefully not.
So are you open to being in so if you were dealing with a quote unquote high value man, you would have no problem with him having options, right?
I mean, I've been in that situation. So no.
I'm asking, would you have any problems with it? Him having other women?
To an extent, no. Like if I'm the one being taken care of.
Yeah.
And I'm
obviously you're primary, but he has others.
Yeah, as long as he's not like spending money on them, like dinners and here for sex or whatever.
No, he's gonna have to spend some money on her. He got to spend some money on her. He's not spending as much money as he's spending on you, but he got to spend money on her.
Like how much percentage compared to
Bill Gates had his girlfriend. He had to spend some money. You get a house. See, gentlemen, what I told you. Women don't care about the options like you think they do. They care about the money. I told you that women care. See, you don't want her to have a house like you. So if you have a house, she doesn't get a house, but she has to have some place for them to go do what they do.
Obviously, I just feel like if he's a man of high value, that's just what comes with the territory of it, like they're just gonna want to do whatever they want. They're just gonna roam free. It's just that's just what comes with it. But here's the hardcore.
But here's the hardcore question. You're unmarried, no children. I mean, not unmarried, and what I'm hearing is you've been kind of living this party girl life, the city girl life. If you don't secure a high value man, you may be able to play in these high value lifestyles, but once your youth and your beauty is gone, so will your ability to attract men like this. Then what?
I
That's a
could say I
reality
lived
for all
did it.
women. Huh?
I could say I lived it when I did.
Okay, but how you going to, but how are you preparing for the future? Are you going to have any money put aside, any investments?
I mean, yeah, I do that. I'm not just here
Okay.
not making
I'm not
money
saying you
or
don't. I'm just asking.
yeah, no, like Instagram is just one of the ways that I make money. You know what I mean? So I definitely
Hmm.
have like outside ways that are not even advertised on Instagram, like that have
Do
nothing
you
to
ever
do
plan
with
on having
that.
any kind of relationship with a man that's traditional? Meaning, do you ever plan on being a wife in the future?
Of course.
Legal, I mean, what I mean by like a legal wife, state contract, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want children, any more children in the future?
Mm, I don't know. If my man could afford to pay for my body, I'll do it. But I don't really want to.
Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure I got to talk to you because I saw a lot of stuff, and I'll just tell you flat out. You already heard. I think you're wrong. I think you know that what you're doing is unfair. But you know, he has apparently, if what you're saying is true, he knows everything. It's all above board. He has no problem paying for it. Fair exchange is no robbery. He's free to do what he wants to do with his money. But I will say that it sends a bad sign to men to hear women like you say, "Don't do nothing for me that you don't plan on maintaining for months after the relationship is over."
Necessity and contractual. Like if it's like a
You you
contract and if
you,
it's
you
a
can't do. I
necessity,
mean, ma'am, that's not how life works when you're a girlfriend or
a
a
home
boyfriend.
and a car. Like I mean a home
Okay,
especially. You know what I mean? Like
ma'am, I
period.
get what you're saying, but it's not going to work because this no different than these women who sit around and say you were in here with another woman, so we got to buy a new bed, a new house, new this, new that. They act like men like money grows on trees. And here's the reality, man. You ladies gonna you're pricing yourself out of the market. The guys who will deal with that, who have the resource to deal with, will go get a different kind of woman, a woman who's not so uh, entitled, a woman who's far more humble, a woman who's
You'd be
definitely
surprised.
listen. No, no, I wouldn't be.
Some men like,
Oh,
you
do
know,
you think? Oh, let's be clear. Let's be clear, Ma. Do you think I don't know what I'm talking about? I'm not sitting up in a
I mean,
damn.
I've
Come
dated
on,
men with money. You know what I mean? So I'm
and
not saying
I'm
you
a
don't
man
know what you're
with.
talking about
Okay,
them.
I'm not going to go there. But look, man, I know what I'm talking about. I know men with money. I'm not. What I'm saying is, unfortunately, they don't marry women like you. They play with women like you.
Sometimes.
Okay. I hope it works
You
out
know,
for you. But
tell
here,
me tell me the truth. Tell me the truth, Kevin. There's a lot of men that got money that they're conservative on the outside, but they love that ratchet. You know what I mean? They love a woman who has
yeah, it's
like
called an
money.
escort. It's called a sugar baby, but you're not going to be the primary wife. You'll be on a
I'll
budget.
take sugar baby. I don't know about escort, but
Well, whatever. The bottom line is you're an employee until he gets rid of you. I get it, but the problem is once you age out, it's over. I get
mhm.
it. I got no problem with the sugar lifestyle and all that stuff. But once it's over, it's over. And what you're ultimately saying is it's all fair and it's cool. I like it that way because then you can't blame anybody for what happens down the line. It's all fair. You were signing up for a lifestyle to where it's kill or be killed. You know the rules of the jungle. Good. Run. But if you get caught, killed, and eaten, don't blame nothing. That's
I don't
fair.
think.
They
Yeah, I
never
don't think I
do.
would. I mean, I come from the bottom, so I mean, anything else is up.
Well, I get it, but eventually, and it's hard to go from that to having a traditional, healthy, functioning relationship because that that singular me against the world mentality doesn't tend to make healthy relationship patterns. I mean, it's exciting,
And
but
it's also hard to go from like high value men to like just, you know.
Man,
right?
you keep saying high value. I'm going to say high earning.
Tradition.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
High
okay.
value
Earning.
men, high earning. Well, but the problem is it doesn't matter. You going from them to nothing, but you're not getting anything except trinkets and baubles. I mean,
Hmm.
if the guy's paying your rent and car, he's doing it.
I mean, that's
Maybe it's a tax
we can.
write off. It doesn't matter. But the point of the matter is, it's sending a bad. Enjoy it while you can, but I would tell you this: I get why people were saying what they were saying because not once in this thing have you sounded the least. Not one. What I'm really listening for, man. Like I said, I really haven't tried to be judgmental, but I'm gonna make one judgment. And my gripe with you is not once during any of this conversation have you sounded the least bit grateful. You've been
Great too.
grateful to this man, this situation, grateful, gratitude. You sound as though
No,
you owe this to me.
no, I am grateful, but we were talking hypothetical if other situations was to occur.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, obviously, in that battle state. But I
So if
am
a
grateful.
man, so if
Go
you
ahead.
were grateful and he said, "I need to end this now," a grateful person doesn't say, "I ain't moving, I ain't doing this, I'm not doing that. You got to fight me." So you can try to weave that. It's not going to work, ma'am. You're not grateful. You feel like he owes you this.
So where that grateful person gonna go? Not talk about me
See,
because I
see,
got
see,
my
see.
bills
That's the
paid.
point. See, a grateful person
But
doesn't. A great. See that.
but
See.
speaking for the
Thank
other
you.
women,
Thank you. No. Thank you. Thank you. Ungrateful gentlemen. Don't. Thank you. You're still worried about you. A grateful person says thank you for what it was. It's no different than if you talk about religion and the devil tried to bet God. And he said, the only reason Job praises you so much is because your protective edge, your hedge. You remove that hedge from it, he'll curse his maker. God removed all the blessings. And what did Job do? He said, we made the Lord give it, the Lord take it away. But bless the Lord. I'm glad for what I had. You're not sitting back saying, where do I go now? You have to be thankful for what you have. You don't sound the least bit grateful, which makes people
so
harden
you
towards, listen, man, which makes people think ill of your points, even if they try to understand where you're coming from. There's no gratitude. You still
so you I
owe.
have a so you feel as if so if a woman was to help you build your business in whatever way, and then let's say you were making 300,000 and now you're making 500,000 in a matter of like a year and a half or two difference, right? Um, you wouldn't offer her like a severance package?
No. Because first of
Why?
all, I'll tell you why. First of all, because I'm going to be successful on my own anyway. But let's take it your way. If you want a severance package, you need to be a wife. If you want a severance package, you need to say up front, I'm doing this under under the express condition that if this relationship ends for any cause, I get a severance package. And then you let me decide whether or not I need your help.
And he should say when he gets you the car
No,
and that
ma'am.
car,
No,
I'm
ma'am.
doing
No,
this,
ma'am.
but if
Because
we
no,
break
ma'am.
up,
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
decide.
But the way you put the situation is when the relationship is over, can she decide to get something else? That would be no different than a man saying, "All right, I took you. We were together, and I took you to Barcelona, Spain, such and so forth. Blah blah. I'm gonna need this back. I'm gonna need that back. I'm gonna need this back. I'm gonna need that back. It's over." No, man. See, this is why you represent modern women very well. You don't understand men. You don't know us men, and to you this seems right and fair. You start talking about things about toxic and you wanted to go into the patriarchy and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm like, who do you think you're sharing the planet with? And I'm thinking if you're raising your son to think this way, he's going to be submissive to a woman. How's he going to
No.
make anything if he's going to end up giving it all away to a woman who feels like he owes her because she decided to be a woman to him? You want to be
Well,
paid for being a girlfriend, even when you're not a girlfriend. So here's what I would say. Thank you for being respectful of my platform. Thank you for not, using colorful language. I wanted to hear you out. I wanted more people to be able to hear your thoughts. I'm going to leave this just as it stands right now. The comment section is, I can't control the comment section. I don't even go down there. It's crazy.
Where do I read? How do I read it? I love it. You guys
The
are
comment section will
they
be in the
all
video.
say
So
the
the
same
comment
thing.
section, when the video is over, the comment section will be there, but you'll be able to see the chat room. But I appreciate it. And I'll ask you offline because how we connected, I'm going to actually talk to your friend too. I'll be doing more of these interviews because I think it's a good thing for the program, a platform to get different points of view out. We don't always have to agree, but I will just say this. What you're saying, ma'am, I think is in the purview of having a formal relationship and a wife. And the only issue I have is, one, you don't sound grateful. Two, you said when the man, if he decided to end it, you'd fight him. That's when my red flags went up. I don't know why you want to fight somebody that's a friend that you were grateful to. That's the only thing I can't square.
Because you're not just gonna rip stuff from under me. That's my point.
Okay.
Guys, thanks for watching, and I mean, respect on the guy for this name, Kevin Samuels. He did so much for the black community, not just black community, I think for the human race, because this woman here in this video is dealing with all sort of men, not just black men. So the point here I'm trying to make is, when you see these type of women being single moms and you kind of wondering why, then I think you watch this video, then you understand why these type of women are mostly single moms. When you have this type of mindset, a man with common sense, a man with logic might impregnate you, whatever the case is, but might not take you serious because you ain't a serious person. You are not. How do you say someone should compensate you for 3 months just for being in a relationship? Make this make sense? It doesn't, right? But I think sometimes we have to blame ourselves as black men, ourselves as men, for kind of always putting, because she's in the situation right now and the man is abiding to it. So you making her feel that this thing that she's doing is the right thing. And she came on live stream to even defend it. And this is my problem. When you do these type of things, and this woman being a baby mama coming out to meet an average guy, I mean, in her vocabularies, I think average men don't even exist. But let's just say, for the benefit of this conversation, let's just say coming out to meet a guy that is an average guy. She would think that she's doing that average guy a great service by just being a baby mama and having sex with this guy. Let me tell you one thing about success of men. If you're a man and you are stupid, no matter how intelligent your woman will be, your woman can put you in that position to be financially powerful. She just can't. So women themselves know these things. They know very well. That's why when they are looking for a man, you hear them talk about looking for a man with vision, a man that is intelligent, because they know that they themselves cannot turn a bomb into a money-making machine. They know. So come in, try to make it look like she's the reason why this man moved from $350,000 to $500,000. It's just crazy. They know deep down that they are not the reason for the man's success. To my argument of, I would even say you even drained him along the line, because whatever resources that he provided for you, had it been that you weren't part of this man's life, he would have been having more. Men were built to create success by themselves. I'm not saying we don't have women that support. We have women that support, but that's just a very tiny proportion of females. Women don't mostly, if they have the power, they mostly want someone that is higher, that they will just be around and just, and just live life. That's just what it is, man. But you have a woman saying she impacted this man's life to the point that this man echelon has increased, right? His earnings and everything has increased. And to me, that is just a lie. And saying that the man has to pay you money for some 3 months to 6 months, whatever the case is, and even saying in some cases a year, just tells you the mindset of our women. When they think about relationship, all they think about is just money. It's not the human being that they are going to be dealing with. It's not the personality that they are going to be dealing with. It's just the money that they will just be involved with. That's what it's all about. And it's sad. It's sad to see black women in these positions. Guys, thanks for checking in. And as usual, if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Peace. I'm out.